Hello, welcome to Rando Tech Info and our review of the Fossil Gen 6 Wellness Edition. And in this review, we are going to attempt to answer three questions. 1, is the watch worth its $300 asking price? 2, is the watch worth an upgrade if you already own the original Gen 6? And 3, how does it stack up to other Wear OS competition? And to answer these questions, we're going to do things a little differently. A lot of people who are out here doing what I do on the tubes call themselves tech influencers or tech reviewers. But I actually prefer to think of myself as a tech enthusiast. I just like talking about and sharing what I know about technology, and because of this, when I review a product, I normally like to lead with the positive. But in this case, I don't want to waste your time, and there are some things about this watch that I'm afraid are going to be immediate deal breakers for a lot of people. So for this particular review, we're going to start there. And the first thing we need to talk about is battery life. The Google Pixel Watch was actually just released a few days before the new Gen 6. And if you thought battery life on the Pixel was bad, Fossil is here to tell you.
Here we go. Hey, hold my beer.
To put it simply, the battery life on the Gen 6 Wellness Edition is the worst of any wearable I have ever used, and yes, I have also been using the Pixel Watch. With the always-on display turned on, I couldn't get this watch to last more than 12 hours. And with the always-on display off, I couldn't get the watch past 14 hours, and those were on light use days with no exercise tracking or workouts. In fact, battery life on the Wellness Edition is so bad that at first I thought I might have a defective unit. But after upgrading my original Gen 6 to Wear 3.2, I am now also having the same issue with that watch. I'm guessing this is an issue of older hardware running new software, but it's still disappointing considering the Snapdragon 4100 platform used in both versions of the Gen 6 just came out a couple of years ago. And actually, if you want to get technical about it, both watches use the 4100 Plus platform, and that just came out last year. Of course, you can extend the battery life using the watch's power saving modes, but in my opinion, having to run those modes all the time defeats the idea of using a smartwatch in the first place. The only saving grace here is at least the watch does charge fast, being able to pull an 80% charge in around 30 minutes. But that still doesn't really solve the problem. The next issue we need to talk about is performance. The Gen 6 Wellness Edition is the first Fossil watch running any version of Wear 3.0 out of the box. And while performance on the Wellness Edition isn't necessarily horrible, it's also not exactly smooth. Once again, this could be a hardware-software compatibility issue because I definitely didn't see the same issues on the original Gen 6 when it was running the previous version of Wear OS. There are just a lot of jitters and an overall lack of responsiveness, with the most aggravating issue being Alexa needing to periodically reconnect itself. And that brings us to our next issue. If you want to use an assistant on the Gen 6 Wellness Edition, you're going to be using Alexa because there is no Google Assistant on board, and as of the making of this video, it also can't be downloaded. And this is becoming a disturbing trend with Wear 3.0. Remember, the Galaxy Watch 4 was the first watch to launch with Wear 3.0, and it didn't come with Google Assistant either, and it didn't become available for download on that watch until 10 months later. I'm not going to spend too long ranting about this, but I do think it's crazy that Google's wearable operating system doesn't come with Google Assistant built in. And to the best of my knowledge, no timeline for bringing the Google Assistant to the Gen 6 or the Gen 6 Wellness Edition has been given. On an up note, while I don't think Alexa is as good as Google Assistant, I do think it's at least better than Bixby.
Hey Bixby, what's the boiling temperature for water?
Do you agree to provide location data to the Weather Channel to process requests?
Really?
The one not so great thing I will say about Alexa on the new Gen 6 is it frequently loses its connection with the watch. So sometimes before you can use it, you will have to wait for a bit, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of having an assistant on your wrist in the first place. Last but not least, health and exercise tracking on the Wellness Edition isn't that great either. Fossil smartwatches have always been known more for their stylish looks than as strong fitness trackers, and their latest offering won't do much to change that, which is sad considering the name of the watch is the Wellness Edition. But the only difference I can find between this watch and the original Gen 6 after its upgrade to Wear 3.2 are a couple of new watch faces, including the Wellness Gauge watch face, which just happens to be the default watch face the watch is using out of the box. So I'm guessing that it's there to make the watch at least look different from its predecessor. Now the watch does have some biometric tracking basics. You can track your heart rate and blood oxygen levels, you can track your sleep, and the watch can track your cardio fitness by measuring your VO2 max, which for those of you non-fitness people out there is the amount of oxygen your body is capable of utilizing during exercise. The watch also tracks your steps and calories burned, and all of these things can be viewed on the watch or on the Fossil Phone Companion app, which Fossil says will work on both Android and iOS devices, making it one of the only Wear OS version 3 devices to play nice with Apple, which is definitely a plus. More advanced features that we are starting to see on other smartwatches and health trackers like ECG or body composition analysis are not to be found here, and even stress monitoring is notably absent. As far as exercise tracking, the watch has a very basic activity tracker with an indoor and outdoor workout option. And you can choose to monitor a couple of different health metrics while you get your sweat on. You can also, of course, always jump on the Google Play Store and download a third-party app of your choosing, including Google Fit. I have read in some places that Google Fit doesn't play well with Fossil's latest, but I personally have yet to run into any issues. My only concern with Google Fit is how much longer Google is going to support it, since they seem to be going all in with Fitbit. Not that Google regularly cans any of its products or services. Now, if you're still here after hearing all that, I assume it's because you want to hear about what's good about this watch, and I'm happy to report there are some positives. First off, as with most Fossil timepieces, this one looks great. The rotating crown 2-button layout provides a nice classic, dare I say timeless feel. I got the shiny silver variant, but you can always pick up the watch in black as well as a color Fossil refers to as blush. And while the watch does come in different colors, it does only seem to come in one 44mm size. And while that 44mm size does feel a bit on the heavy side, the watch is certainly not uncomfortable to wear all day. Or until the battery goes kaput. The included strap on the Gen 6 Wellness Edition is decent looking, at least for a silicone strap. And while I'm not normally into cheap silicone straps being included on $300 watches, it's at least comfortable and soft enough to conform to my wrist. Even better, the watch uses non-proprietary quick-release straps, so they're very easy to swap out and replace. I have always appreciated the fact that Fossil smartwatches look like watches, as opposed to looking like a monitor on your wrist. Now obviously looks are subjective, but if you are like me and you like the look of a traditional timepiece, you will probably really like what's going on with the style here. The 1.28-inch 416 by 416 resolution display on the Wellness Edition is equally pretty, and it's bright enough to be seen outdoors. It is the same one as the one found on the original Gen 6. There is no physical bezel on the Wellness Edition, but there is a relatively chunky digital bezel surrounding the screen. And sadly, unlike with the Galaxy watches, this bezel is not interactive. However, you can use the watch's rotating crown to assist with navigation. And when you are navigating, as mentioned earlier, you will be navigating a watch running Wear 3.2. which for the most part is a clean and easy to navigate interface. There's a decent variety of watch faces and watch face complications to choose from out of the box, and the Fossil Phone Companion app is also easy to use. And downloading the Fossil app to your phone is a must because, like with all other smartwatches running Wear version 3, the old Wear OS app is no longer compatible. The version of Wear OS on this watch is actually very similar to the one on the Pixel Watch, and much less similar to the version found on the current Galaxy watches, which much more closely resembles Samsung's previously used Tizen OS. For the most part, I do like the more stock version of Wear on the Fossil, but I do miss a couple of things found on the Galaxy watches, like a customizable app drawer and of course Google Assistant. One thing that I am happy to say is similar to both the Pixel Watch and Samsung's latest wearables are notifications, which always hit my watch just a second or two after they hit my phone. This is no small deal because in my opinion, the ability to check notifications without having to whip out your phone all the time is one of the best reasons for even using a smartwatch. As far as durability is concerned, the watch is packing a stainless steel frame with a 3 ATM water resistance rating, and the display is protected by Gorilla Glass. And if you're wondering why I didn't mention an IP rating, it's because there isn't one. Finally, speaker, mic, and call quality on the Wellness Edition are all good.
Hey, Ron Rando Tech Info, say something useful.
If you're enjoying this video, you should consider hitting the like and subscribe button.
Not bad.
So at the beginning of this video, we set out to answer 3 questions. The first question, is the watch worth its $300 asking price? And the second question, is the watch worth upgrading to over the original Gen 6? I think can both be answered in just 2 words. Sadly, no. I normally really like Fossil smartwatches. I got a lot of mileage out of my original Gen 6 before the 3.2 update, and I really like my Gen 6 hybrid. But the poor battery life, less than stellar performance, and lack of Google Assistant make this watch really difficult to recommend. I am cautiously optimistic that all of these issues will be resolved down the road with updates, and if they are, I will pin a comment down below and let you know if and when that happens. But as of right now, I do think there are better options out there. Which brings us to our third and final question, which is how does the Gen 6 Wellness Edition compare to the Wear OS competition? For around the same money, both the 4 and 5 series of the Galaxy Watch as well as the Pixel Watch are going to give you better battery life, performance, and health tracking features, and they can all run Google Assistant. And my boy is planning on dropping their latest wearable offering before the end of the year. And since that watch should come packing the latest Snapdragon W5 Plus chipset, it may prove to be a better option as well. Once again, these things may or may not change with updates, but for now, unfortunately, I think the Gen 6 Wellness Edition is at the bottom of the Wear OS pile. Well, that's all the information I have for one day. As always, I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching, and until next time, this is Rando Tech Info, signing out.